Hello and welcome to the Sphere IT podcast. My name's Peter Radcliffe, broadcasting again from the Insurtech Insights event in London. We've been spending a few days here talking to some leaders, movers and shakers in the industry across Insurtech and the carrier market and the regulator market. It's been excellent. Today, I've discovered a wonderful product idea that is being driven by a company from Italy. And they're going to be talking about it today. I've invited Federico to the podcast to talk a little bit about what they're doing. So, Federico, first, tell me about yourself, tell me about what you do, and then we can talk.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, I come from Eoliann. We are an Italian climate tech startup, and what we do is with the prediction of extreme climate events using satellite data and machine learning. So, quite new technologies right now.
Sure. And you're doing it differently because the system that you have is opposing the historical data, and it's being about now and in the future and having that context-bound data to build the machine learning from. Yeah.
Exactly. So if we look at the causes of extreme climate events, of course, it's climate change. And so climate change is making these events super unpredictable. And so historical data, as you were saying, are not attainable anymore from one side. And from the other side, there is urbanization that completely changes the way in which these events are affecting communities. And so we said, okay, which technologies can we use in order to overcome this challenge? And so that's why we're using these two technologies.
So how long have you been as a business operating?
It's a good question because we are quite young. We started just in June 2022.
Right, okay.
Then we raised our first investment round in November 2022 of 1.5 million euros.
Congratulations.
And so right now we are 15 people, 8 people in the tech team because of course we need a lot of technical people, of course, developing the models, and then 7 people in the business team because right now we are in a strong commercial phase. We close a good partnership with the owner of the Italian energy grid, that is Terna SPA. We closed a grant from the European Space Agency, so we are starting right now.
You're getting all the right connections, you're getting all the right data, and then that innovative roadmap that you've been looking at will come to life eventually. So you're at the Insurtech Insights events to meet carriers, meet potential investors, all sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I think that it's a very good event because I saw so many people of the industry. I heard of also competitors, but I said, okay,
well,
maybe.
Competitive is good.
Yeah,
if you're not competitive, it means you're onto something.
Exactly. So I said, I think there is a good momentum right now for natural catastrophes and this kind of stuff. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it a bit before we started filming. The catastrophe modeling space is quite mature. It's like, how can you help? How can you augment that with more capability?
Yeah.
I guess that's what you're trying to do for the insurers.
Yeah. So as I was saying, if we just use statistics and historical data, of course, we cannot capture climate change. So what we said is, okay, let's try to build machine learning models that on one side can help us in lowering the computational cost of the models.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you use physical simulations that are the best way in order to understand climate events, then the computational cost is huge.
Oh, massive, yeah.
And then, of course, physical simulation take into account historical data. So they take as input historical data. And so we said, okay, so we have to build machine learning models that don't take as input historical data. And so that's what we did. And now, of course, we backtest our models and we compare them to the existing ones, and we outperform them by 78%.
That's incredible.
Quite a good result.
It's a good result, yeah. So how does a customer get to industrialize this in their business then? How does that work?
Yeah, so we sell the product in, 2 ways. One simple way, it's the API, so easy to integrate in the systems. And the other one is, of course, a user interface. So if you want to know more about how the models are working, we try to work on an explainable AI system, let's say. We also developed a user interface in which you can see, of course, the results of the models. You can see the maps, because, of course, having also, let's say, a visual information, it's super useful. And so, that's that's the way. Normally what we do is, of course, starting with a proof of concept. So in order to understand the value of our models, and then, of course, we start with the industrialization phase.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there that have got AI.
Yeah.
And then there's real AI. The kind of machine learning that you're talking about sounds based upon traditional data science methods,
Yeah.
more predictive than generative. But do you see that generative will become part of your space eventually?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. And we discussed this with several potential customers, because potentially, like, generative AI in our use case can be useful for better understanding the results of the model. So potentially can be a good use case. Right now, of course, like, we are focusing much more on
The core value of the system.
Exactly.
And that's what's going to bring the money in, which will allow you to sort of grow. And Federico, in today's economy and today's market, I think what you're talking about makes a lot of sense. I think everyone's being conscious of climate change, and thank you, with your message and what you're trying to achieve. Bringing that to everyone's attention is a very important thing we should be worrying about. And if you can enhance our lives in any way through your brain or through your technology, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks
you
ever
very
so
much
much for your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant to meet you. Thank you.